It feels like old news at this point, honestly, with how many people they've let go in the last, 24 hours. But let's discuss that first name first. And I just reminded myself of it right now. But Tom Phillips getting let go from WWE last Thursday following a near decade run in the company. We all thought he was being put back on the Raw commentary team following the departure of Adnan Virk. Obviously not the case. They're putting in Jimmy Smith instead, who debuted on Raw. Honestly, I thought he did very well. But to let go of Tom Phillips, who did a lot for the company on screen and behind the scenes, to me was very, very puzzling.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see Tom Phillips go. I feel like everyone thought he was kind of like the Michael Cole 2.0, or kind of the next guy that would fall in the footsteps of Michael Cole. But I also think Vance Joseph's pretty similar, so maybe they're more fond of Vance over Tom. But it definitely was a little surprising, a little puzzling. I thought he would replace Adnan Virk on Raw as well, but I actually was very surprised with how well Jimmy Smith was on Monday night. I mean, he was coming from MMA. He's done similar. It's not the same, but combat sports and wrestling, it has some kind of different, same vibes going on. Obviously, it's hand-on-hand combat, and I think he did great. It didn't sound forced. He sounded like he knew a lot about the product, or enough to come across as intelligent. So I like Tom Phillips. I think a lot of people just thought he was just like Michael Cole and his very fake and ungenuine commentary.
Yeah, no, I mean, even with that being said, I mean, that's why you would think that they would keep him, is because he kind of followed the Michael Cole formula. I really like Tom Phillips. I'm not going to say he was my favorite commentator in the last decade or so, but I enjoyed his work more than most, at least more than Byron Saxton or someone like that. So I don't know if something happened. I know he was taken off of Mania because I think he had COVID, and that's why he didn't call the action on that show. I don't remember exactly, but that's a real shame. He hasn't really spoken out about it in the last week, so I'm sure we'll find out the full story at some point. But you mentioned Jimmy Smith. I thought he did well on Raw this week, and there was some hesitation going in. At this point, there should be, because every Raw commentator we've had in the last year or two they've all been let go. Tom Phillips got fired. Adnan Virk he parted ways with the company. Vic Joseph lasted all of a month. So there was clearly some hesitation there from fans going into Monday's Raw with Jimmy Smith, with the tweet that surfaced as well that I'm sure you saw, where he indicated no less than 2 years ago that he has not watched wrestling since he was in grade school, which would have been 30, 40 years ago. So that's quite saying something, and I thought he went in there on Raw this week and did a very good job. And you mentioned the fact that he used to call combat sports UFC, Bellator, American Ninja Warrior. He brought that energy, and I thought he did very well. I don't know how long he's going to last, but I thought for night one he did very well.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I said, I think having the mixed martial arts background, it's very similar to wrestling, so I feel like it didn't seem forced. It seemed genuine. It wasn't kind of like the buzzwords that they normally use. So I thought his first night was good, and I'm interested to see where it goes from here.